All right. Here it is, folks. I was number 300 and some in line at the Game Crafter, and I don't know how those guys pump out games, but it was just fun to watch all the countdown happen. So 6 pounds of game right here. So let us do it. Ooh. There it is. You can just hear the weight. It's got that good, solid feeling. All right, so this is just a prototype box design. But I have the artwork on the front that Szymek from, my artist Szymek from Poland created, of course. And then the back has just an action shot from the game, little description, and then the player count and playtime, age. So I'm going to open this like a little kid at Christmas. I'm just going to rip it because it's more fun. Ooh, I like that linen finish on there. Very nice. I'm just going to ogle this. I'm sure you guys all understand. So when this has a lot of components in it, and their estimates on the Game Crafter said that this box would be big enough, but my blank box that I bought, just so that way I could gauge size and have a box to put things in, I could easily fit more components in that, so this is really cool. Oh. All right, here we go. We're going to open it now. Oh yeah. Nice work on the, I mean, it's just, they could have sloppily put this in there on the inside here, but it's nice and even cut. Looks really good. Oh, around the edges I put some of the artwork. This is the Constitutional States Army anti-tank defense. It's an anti-tank rocket defense. And then on this side I put the heavy machine gun defense artwork. It's just kind of like that on all 4 sides. But it's just a prototype box, so. Alright, here's all the pieces. So we have all the custom punch outs for units and defenses and all that. Looks like here we have victory point tokens, more victory point tokens. I haven't really done the counts on how many I'm actually going to need, so I just guessed high. That way I don't run out, because it'd be terrible if you're play testing and then you ran out. More unit tokens. And then we have the unit cards with the all the updated artwork for the Unified Socialist States Army. Before I just was using stock art on there, and now we've got the actual art, and we've got the victory point values on here. So we got the unit cards, cubes, damage cubes, and upgrade cubes, Looks like it's a little short on the high grade ore and low grade ore, but not to worry. There's plenty more where that came from. These purple cubes, I went with these just to during combat. These purple cubes are going to be tracking which unit you've attacked with in that combat round. So combat is done in a phase, and that phase comprises of combat rounds. And so each time that you attack with a unit, you place this cube on there so that way you can keep track of what unit you've attacked with. Then we got the dice and the specific unit upgrade cubes. Special action cards. So these you buy these with red victory points. And then we have the structure tiles here. These are what you'll build your base up with and build your different units with. Oh, this is the part I've been waiting for. The the map tiles, the map sectors. Before they were just kind of a really generic looking background with just hex spaces and a space where the mine was. And now Shymek's artwork is on here. These will probably change to be different shapes, and then they'll be each space will be intersected by interconnecting terrain features like a mountain range here. That way you can connect the two different tiles. So I've got different ideas there other than just a plain hex, so that the map looks a little bit more unique, and then they're a little bit more like, you know, choke points and different terrain features for players to have to work through. So, and then last but not least, the player mats. So these are updated from the old player mats, which I've been updating with stickers and stuff to reflect the updates to the different changes from playtesting. But now you can see I've got all kinds of other crap over here from, I just kind of shoved all the old versions of the game out of the way so that way I could make room for this. And then I just wanted to see what the game crafters, it wasn't last but not least, the actual rule book. I wanted to see what the game crafter did for rule books, because I've never actually gotten a chance to print one off. So I just uploaded what I had at the time, just so that way I could see what it felt like and looked like. And this is legit. This is pretty cool. This is all just done from exporting PowerPoint slides. So the resolution isn't where I want it, but I knew that going into it. The PowerPoint exports their PDFs in 72 DPI, and then it's below. It's like 1,000. It's like 900 by like 700 and something, and the Game Crafter has a much higher resolution. So, but this was, I mean, to print this rule book off was like a couple extra bucks, and all I wanted to do was just see what it looked like, because why not? So I'm excited about the quality of the rule book, and I know that the resolution isn't there, but I don't care. I wasn't really after that. I just wanted to touch and feel. So, plus all the rules that are in here have already been updated about 6 more times, so this is all out of date anyway. So, but it's cool. So, all right. I want to get punching here. I want to get punching stuff out and actually get my hands on everything. So it's pretty cool to have such an official looking box. Let's get right, we'll just work from the back to the front now. All right. So I wasn't going to do the UV finish because in the light it's really hard to see if it's reflecting, because the UV finish is so shiny. But this is a play test, and I wanted these to be a little bit more durable, or this is a prototype for play testing. I wanted these to be a little bit more durable. Plus, if I needed to put stickers on them, I can put stickers on the UV finish and tear them off and update the stickers, so I'm not like stacking stickers or anything like that. So I just stayed with the UV finish. But I do like the feel of the linen finish. But looks really good. All the updates that I've done and that we've had to adjust for during play testing are now all reflected on a single thing without a bunch of stickers on it. So we've got blue. These are dual-sided, so players will pick the color that they want, and then they can flip it over to pick the faction that they want. So the reason there's so many components is because I'm just accounting for the fact that maybe there's a 4-player game where players want to play, you know, all the same faction. And, you know, you'd hate to spend the money on a game and not be able to play the faction that you want. So I've had to, you know, take a component and multiply it times 4 to make it so that players can all play the same faction. So blue, black, red, and green. And then these colors will probably end up being updated with symbology, so that colorblind players don't have to worry about being able to track a color that they can't even see. So, but that's down the line. Let's just dig in right here. Ah, yes, the sooty smell of laser cut components all over my hands. I don't really care. All right, so this is the red defenses stuff, so we can punch these out. There's just something magical about that. So here's some black tokens. So I have all of these bordered by the different colors. So red, and you got black here. The other thing I had to update with these tokens from the previous tokens is the previous tokens did not have the Railgun defense for the Unified Socialist countries, and you know, so we were just kind of playing with that, and that kind of, I don't know, that always bothers me when, you know, something gets added and that component just isn't there to, you know, bring you into the game. So green, blue. So each one of these defensive tiles has a victory point value listed on them. So once an enemy destroys your defense, then they can collect that many victory points and either keep them towards their end of game victory point total, or they can risk spending a little bit of those to get those special action cards. So you know, there is kind of a dual cost to the special action cards. It's the cost of the victory points, but it's also if you're relying on those to kind of help you in your game, you know, it if it's a close game where there's two players close to with victory point totals, then spending some victory points on a card or two might, you might end up defeating your enemy, but you might not do so well in the victory points. And who knows, that might change as play testing goes on. Players might not see that as very fair, but there's other factors that play into that. Here are the mining truck tokens. The mining truck tokens, players will use these to move around the map and secure sectors, and these also perform mining operations. They can also be upgraded with a weapon to help defend themselves a little bit better, but these also have a victory point value on them. And once players lose their mining truck, it's gone from the game. Players get 4 mining trucks. So if a player loses all their mining trucks, that really hurts. So protect your mining trucks. All right. Must be buried in here. And I don't expect all you guys to sit here and watch me punch all this. Oh, no, here's another one. But, some people might like it. I don't know. It's part of the unboxing, I guess. So, here's one of the Railgun defense tokens. There are 3 of them. For green. So you can see the back is also color-coded. Some red Railgun defenses and some green unit tokens. These unit tokens, for those who don't know, represent on your player mat, and this is not a final design, this is a prototype player mat. I'm working with a graphic designer to get this into a more functional form, but I'm just kind of, piggybacking off of what I spent hours designing because it's still functional and relevant to the game. These unit tokens are numbered, and they represent a unit slot. And you have your unit cards, and when you train a unit, you place that unit in a unit slot, and then you move this token around the map, and this token represents the unit that's in that unit slot. So these unit slots also have an initiative value. So the lowest initiative has priority in combat, and then the highest initiative has the least priority in combat. So that's a different discussion for a how to play video, which I've done a couple of those, but they keep getting, new things keep getting updated, and sometimes I just am not satisfied with the one before, so I want to make it a little bit better. Now, the faction that I normally play the most is Unified Socialist Countries. And that's because I haven't done a lot of winning with that one, because my buddy James is a beast with games. He just has that knack. I'm not. I just enjoy playing games. But I just, because I haven't won a lot with that one, I'm just trying to figure it out. And maybe I'm just not playing right. My own game, but you know what? Can't win all the time, right? Something I'm trying to teach my kids is that, winning isn't everything. It's your goal, but if you don't win in a game, it's not the end of the world. Holy moly, that's a lot of tokens. We've got 10s and 5s and 1s. And these are the yellow victory point tokens, and these have a specific purpose in the game. Real quick, this is Sector 14. This is the volcano sector. This is the sort of the big kahuna sector in the game. It gives you 2 low-grade and 2 high-grade ore. Doesn't give you a lot of relevance because you haven't played the game, but that's quite a bit. just to kind of give you an idea as to what that means, for each mining truck you have on this sector, you get to collect that 2 low grade and 2 high grade every 60 seconds. This has 2 mining rigs on it, so you can place 2 mining trucks here. But there's also this little yellow star here. So every time that you collect ore, you get to collect a single yellow victory point token. Because this sector is so valuable in the game, the player who controls this the longest gets these bonus points for that. So that's what these yellow victory points are for. They're not used for purchasing anything. They're just used for tracking who has had control of this sector the longest. And then, of course, if there's a player that had control of this most of the game, and then another player comes in right at the end and drives them out, the player at the end of the game that has control of this sector gets these red victory points up here at the end of the game. So, kind of a dynamic dual purpose thing there. So before, I did a play test with these victory point tokens, and I spent like 2 hours hand punching these. I just took sticker paper and stuck it to cardstock, and the little circle punch that I have could barely get through that. But now I've got these awesome laser cut chipboard tokens from the Game Crafter, and it'll just make things so much better. I wonder what these guys at the Game Crafter think when they see a game like this with just an enormous amount of punch outs. Maybe they're used to it, but I mean, a lot of people, it seems like, that go through the Game Crafter for their games, they're more of a small game designer. They're not like making a gigantic monstrosity such as this. I mean, a lot of the games through the Game Crafter, in the $30 to $40 range, people want to have that low price point. This game, printed with all the timers. I did not order the timers with this because I have a buttload of timers. I've got like 80 timers sitting around here. Plus, from the other version of the game, I've got timers. With the timers and everything, currently the price is at $221. But that's a short run, single print go, and the Game Crafter has their, as maybe many, if there's any other designers out there that have used it, they have bulk pricing, but you have to, order that many. And if I were to order, 100 of these at $200 a piece, well, I think my wife would never want to see me again. So, unless of course I won the lottery or something like that, but that's kind of a ridiculous goal to chase. All the money I put into lottery tickets, I could just buy more prototypes, design more games. Tell you what, all those folks out there that just, like me, that just love doing these punches, they would have a lot of fun with this one. This token count will probably end up going down. It's just, I don't know how many tokens are going to be required yet. And again, like I said before, I didn't want to be short. And who knows, right now I'm probably just talking to myself. But that's okay. Gotta keep myself company, I guess. So the Game Crafter right now has a queue of over 1,000 games in their standard production run, and the last I looked, there was like 1,200 bulk order games. Um, so I'm glad I'm not at that 1200 mark because I wouldn't see my prototype until January. I kind of snuck it in there before the giant rush. And I actually had to cancel this order because I realized that I'd screwed up on a component that got uploaded. I uploaded an old image file, and I had to cancel the order. And then I went through a play test, and I decided to wait just in case there were new updates that I wanted to make. So I waited like 3 more days. And the initial ship date was December 11th. Waited 3 or 4 more days, and then the ship date moved out to December 18th. Well, just yesterday, or the day before, they finished it up. So on December 11th, the original ship date, it shipped out. So kudos to the game crafter for just doing their thing. Okay, so these are the repair tokens. Infantry and conscripts can repair vehicles out on the map. And so that takes time, and so when a player needs to repair something, they'll take their victory point token and set it, or their repair token, and set it down next to the units that are the unit that's being repaired, so that way other players can see that, he's out there repairing this unit. Maybe they're close enough to where they can sneak in and do an attack on these extremely vulnerable units, because while the infantry is repairing and while the vehicle is being repaired, in that 30-second time, there's a window where they are not able to attack. So, who knows, maybe players won't even use these tokens and it's just a waste of, but it didn't take me long to make these. I just found some stock art of a wrench. I didn't really plan that out really well. All right, 2 more and then we'll get to the cards. But yeah, with the repair tokens, I just wanted to, try something that would indicate to other players that, hey, this player's doing this really vulnerable thing, and give them a chance to get in there and make some attacks. All right, well, here are all the slugs. I'm going to save these and post a picture of all these to the Game Crafter Facebook group. Now the structures. So the other updates for this particular one is the old structures did not have the victory point values for these structures on here, because when I printed this version of the game off, the victory points did not exist. But through feedback on playtesting, there was really no way for people to be scoring their successes in the game. So I decided to add the victory point thing, or mechanic. So here are the advanced support command structures. Players use these, will build these when they want to upgrade units. So every player wants to upgrade units and make them more powerful. And then we've got the vehicle support command, where tanks and artillery can be built. Supply depots, where players can build these. The scope of this has kind of changed a little bit. I still kept them in the game because I still want to explore a couple different options. But before, when I came out with these supply depots, the whole purpose was players could build them so that they always had a kind of a source of income. It's more of a comeback mechanic. Players have 2 timers in the game that they can use for resource collection. And you obviously want to use those timers out on the map, because the map is much more productive in ore or resources than a supply depot. But as an early game strategy, if you don't want to go out and spend 3,000 on a mining truck right away, well, maybe you just build a supply depot and you can get one high grade and one low grade ore every 60 seconds from this. The idea I'm exploring with this is, instead of this producing ore, players can build this structure and turn in and exchange victory points for more resources. So the idea behind that would be like, hey, I've done all this killing out on this map, but we're kind of struggling right now. Hey, government, can we get an injection of funds? And then they look at how well you did through the victory points. They're like, yeah, sure, here's some money. I don't know. Keeping it in the game until it becomes completely irrelevant and a waste of a component. We got more. Oh. Oops. I guess I forgot to remove. It looks like a component got double. So this is the old name to the advanced support command is R&D, and so I just it's probably like $1 worth. So set those off to the side. All good to go. It's just extra. So here we got the mining support commands. And what these do is, after a player has built their advanced support command, they can build a mining support command. And at the beginning of the game, players only start off with one mining truck, and then they can build one additional mining truck through their vehicle support command. But if they want those 2 extra mining trucks, because players get 4, they want those 2 extra mining trucks to go out there and collect more ore, well, then they need to build the mining support command to increase their production capacity. All right, and we've got, that's right, I printed off 2 different versions of the command base. So the old command bases, you could attack for 2, and 2 is a pretty significant number. That can lay down quite a bit of damage to most units. You can attack for 2 4 times at 80% accuracy. And the other side is blank. So you play in most games you'd start with the command base not having defenses, but you can upgrade and turn this into a defensive structure. So I made 2 different versions of this. This one is the 2 times 4 attack, and then I have the 1 times 4 attack. There was a game we played where a command base was I was attacking a command base, and I came in there, and by all rights I should have had it, but it was a little too. It basically wiped out so many that it almost made it just overpowered. And if a player were to have a lot of their base defenses built in their base, or their defenses in their base, then it'd be almost impossible to break through that and win. So we weaken this a little bit to play test that. All right, I'm gonna bust out the maps here. All right, so these are dual-sided. And what I did was, so I've got a Sector 14 here, and then down the line there will be another Sector 14 on the other side. But, so I've got, Sector 14 is the last in the line, so 14 is the highest, it produces the highest, and then on the other side is Sector 1. So players that choose to want to play like a little bit more of a difficult game, they can play with just these single low-grade ore producers. However, this sector is unique in the fact that you can have 3 mining trucks on it. So just, I don't know, trying out different things, giving players different options as to what they want to do. So before, I was just upgrading my plain old, kind of boring looking map tiles and using full sheet sticker paper. Only problem is what that sticker paper likes to curl this, so you're always having to like fold these out during the game. It makes it really annoying, but it proved out the concept just fine. So just burned through a ton of ink. So got sector 11 here. This produces one high grade and one low grade ore, 2 mining trucks. This is sector 13 and sector 12. Both are victory point sectors, so players can choose to play with these sectors if they want. Instead of mining, they can move an infantry squad or a conscript to this sector, take control of it, and start collecting victory points off of it. Here are the base map tiles, dual-sided. Players can choose to play with a mine in their base, and they can put a mining truck right there and collect one high grade and one low grade ore off of this. These are intended to mainly for new players, but maybe players have a unique idea that they want to set up a map in such a way where it's like a tight proximity, and they want to have close proximity bases and have a lot of combat. So just a little bit more options to play with, and also for my testing of interests, just trying to figure out what works the best. So 7 and 9. This one produces 2 low grade ore, 2 mining rigs, 2 mining trucks. This sector 8 produces 2 high grade ore. Got 5 and 10. So 5 does 2 low grade, 10 does 1 low grade, 1 high grade. So they just kind of flip back and forth like that. And then the different terrains are, you got grass, and this is rocky terrain. There's no tactical advantage to that currently, but in the future on map tiles, maybe rocky terrain, it reduces your speed when you go through these sectors. I don't know. The future is bright. Desert terrain. Got desert terrain, and then we've got, of course, sector 14, which is the volcano terrain. Going to explore making this lava impassable, and then having one area where players can choose to go through the lava, but if they choose to go through there, like maybe a player's got something like artillery over here and they're just pummeling their opponents from this side, and somebody wants to sneak across around here, they could take 1 damage or whatever to pass over this lava river and try and make an attack attempt on that artillery or something. So yeah. Alright, let's go with the special action cards here. Probably running low on battery on my phone because I've been emailing all day. So we've got, I'm not going to go into each one of these, but I printed off a whole bunch of different copies so I could explore, maybe some of these are really overpowered and they need to have fewer of these options available in the game. So I just printed off 8 of each type just so I can explore and play with what quantities work the best. So. And then we're going to get to these unit cards. And I should only be able to, only need to go through one of these, but yeah, so for those of you who don't know, units have a different cost than a structure. So This vehicle support command costs 2,000. High grade ore is worth, so the gold is worth 1,000, and the black is worth 500. And so this has like a true value to it, where it's, truly, the market value, I guess you could say, of the ore. Whereas units require a combination of both. So this unit costs 2 high grade and 4 low grade ore. You cannot take and exchange low grade for high grade ore to create this unit. It has to be 2 high grade and 4 low grade ore. The idea behind this, because these used to have like that true value, this used to be like a $3,000 tank. But I wanted, once I started refining my mining mechanic, I wanted to have players have to be able to have control of both types of resource. So by making the units this dual cost, I guess you could say, or this hard set cost, then it forces them to have control of both types of ore. And then on the player cards, some of the cards have information about the unit. So this infantry squad can repair vehicles, requires a 30-second timer, and you can remove up to 2 damage cubes after the timer expires. And then their unit stats here, so it can attack. You got the top one right here that tells you can attack vehicles and structures for 1, infantry for 1, and has 2 armor. So these also have the UV finish on them. Just have a really nice feel to them. Then the back just tells what faction they belong to. So that's about it. I'll quick just tell you what the timers will be. So the timers will have, the Game Crafter version of the game will come with these stickers that they'll stick on their timers, so that players know that, oh, I'm blue in the game, this is my timer. And then it just gives the value of the timer, 60 second and 30 second. So there'll be let's see, 24 timers in the game, and each player gets 6. And that seems like a lot, but sometimes you're only moving 1 unit around the map, and they truly become a resource. So that's about it. So hope you enjoyed this, and if you didn't, I apologize for boring you with all the punching out and all the explanation, but I've been waiting for this game and super excited about getting my official full print prototype, just to see, one, how it all fit in the box, but also I don't know, the buying games is fun. So we'll be play testing tomorrow. I will probably do a live stream of that, and unless everybody doesn't show up, then I'll cancel it. But yeah, I'm excited to get out and play with this new prototype and be able to send it off to some blind play testing. And yeah, enjoy, people.